time I talked to Bill Gates. Hello Reddit. I am an employee at, let's call them acronym bank. I have been there for a while and have way too many good stories, this one being one of my favorites. In my third year with acronym bank, I had established a decently sized base of clientele. That being said, I had my regulars, one of which was Mr. J. I saw him every week and we would exchange pleasantries, how's the wife, kind of stuff. One day, as I was sitting in my office making calls, he rushed in panicking. I asked what was wrong and he started telling me about how he had a virus on his computer and called the number that popped, then let someone access his computer remotely. He started telling me about how he told them his username and password for online banking too. I calmed Mr. J down with the usual "it's alright, we can stop any charges" stuff that I was taught to say, and to be fair, it's true, we could. Mr. J accepted that he was in good hands and that I would take care of the issue and mitigate any loss I could. As we were locking up his account tighter than foot knocks, his phone started ringing and he let me know the scammers were calling. I told him to ignore the calls, but they persisted, so I had him answer the phone so I could speak to them. A man answered the phone with what I can only describe as the second thickest mid-Asian accent I had ever heard. Said, "Mr. J, this is Eric with Microsoft in Washington, why did you shut down your PC?" I quickly took over and let them know who I was and where I worked. I told them we knew they were scammers and that I advised my client to discontinue all contact with them. Eric became audibly upset and started threatening to sue me for slander, to which I replied with the bank address and told him he could send the suit paperwork directly to my office. Eric quickly hung up after a few minutes of back and forth. We continued with the account opening, and after about 10 minutes everything was finished except for a hold or two, to prevent money from leaving the account. Just as I finished placing the hold, Mr. J's phone rang again. Sure enough, it was the same number. This time I just answered and put the phone on speaker so Mr. J could hear how to talk to these guys if he was ever the victim again. When I answered the phone, a man responded in the thickest mid-Asian accent I had ever heard, saying, "This is the manager at Microsoft, what is the problem here?" Now that we were on to the second person, I decided to try another approach. So I stated my name and the bank I worked at, and I decided to ask his name. He responded with my name? "My name is William Gates." Mr. J and I looked at each other and paused for a second. Then we burst out into the loudest, most gut-busting laughter we could muster. We were so loud that my boss, who was 3 offices over at the time, came over thinking something was wrong. We continued laughing and one of us even asked the guy if he was really the CEO of Microsoft. We heard him shout what we assumed was profanity, in a language neither of us spoke, and hang up the line. That was the first and probably last time I got to talk to Bill Gates.